The moment you stop caring, they start crumbling. My friends, let that sink in for a second, because nothing, and I mean nothing, shakes a person more than realizing you're no longer emotionally available for their drama. See, they expected you to chase, to react, to prove your worth like you always did. But when you didn't flinch, when you stayed calm, cool, and unbothered, you didn't just surprise them, you destroyed their illusion of control. Now, before we dive deep, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below so we can keep building this brotherhood together. Trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the end, because this one will shift the way you see silence, peace, and power forever. Hey folks, imagine this for a second. You're the ocean. They threw rocks, hoping to cause waves, but instead the ocean just absorbed it, calm, endless, unmoved. They stare, confused, because they expected chaos. They wanted to see the splash, the storm, the reaction. But all they got was calm water reflecting their own noise back at them. That's what being unbothered feels like. It's not pretending you don't care. It's realizing you don't have to prove that you do. Here's the truth. Your peace is their punishment. They can handle your anger. They can handle your tears. But your calm? That terrifies them, because it means you've stopped playing the game. You've stopped being predictable. You've taken back your power without saying a single word. People think being unbothered means you're heartless. But that's a lie. Being unbothered means your heart finally grew wise. It learned that not every battle deserves your energy. It learned that silence is sometimes the sharpest sword. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And that's exactly what this kind of peace is, revenge through evolution. Think of it like this. When you were attached, you were like a flame in their hands, bright, reactive, and easy to blow out. But now you've become the sun, distant, untouchable, and yet everything revolves around you. They can't grab you, they can't control you, they can only feel your absence and wish they hadn't taken your warmth for granted. And let's be honest, it's a little funny, isn't it? Watching them try to figure out why you're not chasing anymore. They'll post something for attention, maybe even a picture with someone new, just to see if you'll flinch. But when you don't, when you stay cool, smiling, living, laughing, they start to panic, because the game only works if you keep playing, and when you stop, the game ends. Here's a quote I want you to remember. When you're no longer impressed by their chaos, you've already won. That's the quiet victory most people never talk about. When peace becomes your new rebellion. When you stop explaining yourself. When you stop defending your worth. When you stop chasing people who never looked back. That's when your energy turns magnetic. Because the truth is, nothing hurts them more than seeing you unbothered. Not their new lover. Not your silence. Not even the distance. What breaks them is realizing you've stopped caring whether they notice. You stopped performing. You stopped needing their approval to feel whole. And now your peace has become their mirror, reflecting back everything they lost when they lost you. So, my friends, here's what I want you to do. From today forward, protect your calm like it's sacred. Don't hand it to anyone who didn't fight to earn it. Because your peace is your power, your calm is your comeback, your indifference is your evolution. Say this with me right now. I stay calm. I stay winning. Type it in the comments below. Show me. Show yourself. Show the world that you're done reacting, done chasing, done explaining. Because from here on out, we rise in silence. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay with me. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly why your calm is more haunting than any reaction they ever hope to get. Stay calm, stay rare, stay rising. Number 1, they wanted you to react. They don't want peace. They want proof they still have power over you. My friends, that's the truth most people can't handle. They don't crave your love after they leave. They crave your reaction. They want to see if you'll break, if you'll fold, if you'll panic without them. Because your reaction, that emotional flare, tells them they still matter. They feed off it like oxygen. So when you give them silence, when you stay calm, when you act unbothered, you don't just confuse them, you starve them. Imagine this. They walk away expecting fireworks, tears, messages, explanations, maybe even a little drama to soothe their ego. But instead, you become the quiet sky. No noise, no flashes, just stillness. They wait. Nothing. Days pass. Still nothing. That silence starts echoing in their mind like a question they can't answer. Why isn't he reacting? See, silence doesn't just make them wonder, it makes them afraid. Because if you're not reacting, it means you've detached. And detachment, my friends, is their worst nightmare. They thought you'd chase. They thought you'd text something like, "I miss you," or "Can we talk?" Because that's what everyone else does. That's what keeps their ego inflated, knowing they still control your emotions even when they're gone. But when you didn't react, when you stayed unshaken, something inside them cracked. Because now the question isn't, does he still care? It's, why doesn't he? And that's the moment their power begins to fade. Here's a hard truth. Most people leave not because they're done with you, but because they think you'll always be available. They believe that no matter what happens, they can return to the same version of you, waiting, hurting, hoping. That belief is their safety net, and when you don't react, you cut that net. They fall. They feel the ground. They meet the reality that you're not waiting anymore. That's what being unbothered does. It collapses their illusion. But let's get real. Staying calm isn't easy. Your mind will play tricks on you. You'll replay old conversations, imagine them laughing with someone else, and your heart will start to ache. You'll feel the urge to text, to prove you still exist in their world. You'll think, maybe if I just say something, they'll remember. But that's fear talking. That's ego whispering. If you stay silent, they'll forget you. But here's the lie. People don't forget calm. They remember it because it's rare. Let me tell you something. Anyone can create chaos. But peace stands out. Peace is power. It's not that you stopped caring. It's that you started protecting your energy. You stopped performing for people who were only there for the applause. Think about a bonfire. When it burns, everyone gathers around it, laughing, clapping, enjoying the warmth. But once it fades, once the fire is gone, they all scatter. But here's the twist. While they're gone chasing new lights, you're not burnt out. You're rebuilding your flame privately. And one day, when your fire roars back bigger, stronger, steadier, they'll see it from a distance. They'll realize they traded the warmth of your fire for the flicker of a candle that couldn't survive the wind. They'll tell themselves lies to cope. He must be pretending. He must still care. He'll come back eventually. But deep down, they feel the shift. They feel your silence like gravity. They scroll your page and wonder why you look lighter. They replay the last words you said and wonder if that was the moment you let them go. They'll even try to test you, send a small message, a random like, a memory from nowhere, just to see if you'll break your calm. But don't, because every time you stay silent, your value doubles in their mind. Every time you don't react, their ego shrinks. And I get it. It's hard. It's hard to hold that silence when your heart is screaming for closure. It's hard not to explain your side, not to prove your worth, not to show them what they're missing. But that's exactly where your strength is built. In restraint. Anyone can talk. Few can stay still. Anyone can react. But the man who doesn't, he controls the frame. Here's what they'll never admit. Your calm haunts them, because every time they tell themselves they were right to leave, your peace proves them wrong. Every time they post a picture with someone new, it's not about love, it's about testing your silence. And every time you don't flinch, every time you don't engage, it burns a little deeper. Because your calm is a reminder that they're no longer relevant to your story. Remember this quote: "Sometimes the loudest message is the one never sent." That's your power. You don't need to announce your healing. You don't need to prove your growth. The way you move, the way you smile, the way you stop explaining, that says everything. So when that fear creeps in, the fear that your silence means they'll forget you, remind yourself of this truth. People forget noise. They never forget peace. They'll remember the calm that made them uncomfortable. They'll remember the silence that made them think. They'll remember how, no matter what they did, you didn't break. My friends, you're not ignoring them to win them back. You're ignoring them to win yourself back. You're not going quietly to punish them. You're going quiet to protect your peace. Because real strength isn't shown through control over others. It's shown through control over yourself. And that's what being unbothered truly is. Not emotional numbness, but emotional mastery. So here's what I want you to declare right now. Say it out loud with me. I don't react. I rise. Type it in the comments below. Show me. Show yourself. Show the world that your silence isn't weakness. It's transformation. That your peace isn't pretending. It's power. Because what's coming next, my friends, is even deeper. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to uncover why your calm becomes their chaos, and why no new lover can compete with the energy of a man who refuses to be shaken. Stay rare, stay calm, stay rising. Number 2. Their new lover can't compete with your calm. Peace is expensive, and most people can't afford to lose you twice. My friends, that's the truth nobody wants to admit. The moment you become unbothered, you shift from being the one they left to being the one they can't stop comparing everyone else to. See, when you were emotional, when you were reactive, they thought they had you figured out. They felt powerful, knowing they could pull a string and make you move. But the calm version of you, that man is unpredictable. That man is dangerous. That man is unforgettable. Imagine this. They walk into something new, smiling, laughing, posting, pretending to have moved on. On the surface, it looks like peace. But deep down, it's performance. Because while they're standing next to their new lover, their mind keeps flickering back to you, the one who doesn't check, doesn't chase, doesn't care. That calm eats at them. It's like background music they can't turn off. They try to drown it out with noise, but peace echoes louder in silence than chaos ever could. They'll tell themselves lies. He was too serious. He didn't make me feel alive. This new person understands me better. But here's the thing. What feels thrilling at first often turns hollow fast. The new person. They might make them laugh, distract them, give them attention, but attention fades, presence doesn't. And your presence, the kind that came with patience, consistency and depth, becomes the ghost that lives in their quiet moments. Think about it. When the excitement of something new dies down, what do people crave most? Stillness, safety, understanding. That's what you brought. You were the anchor in their storm, and anchors aren't easily replaced. Their new lover might hold their hand, but they won't hold their peace. They might spark chemistry, but they can't recreate your gravity. Because calm like yours doesn't come from trying, it comes from conquering yourself. And that's rare. Here's the lie they believed. They thought chaos was exciting and calm was boring. But chaos always burns out. Calm lasts. Chaos gives a rush, but calm gives a home. They left peace for distraction, and when the thrill wears off, when they start to feel that emptiness creeping back in, they realize something cruel. Their new lover didn't fix the void. You did. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine a man standing in front of two fires. One is loud and wild, flames shooting high, sparks flying. It looks powerful, but it burns fast and leaves nothing but ash. The other is steady, warm, controlled, endless. It doesn't demand attention, but it gives life. That's you. You were never meant to be the spark that dazzles for a night. You were meant to be the fire that endures through winter. But they had to lose you to learn the difference. And that's where the real irony lies. Because the more they chase temporary highs, the more they realize how rare your peace was. Your calm becomes the yardstick by which they measure everyone else, and no matter how much they try, no one feels the same. Because your energy was not just felt, it was grounding. You didn't compete, you didn't perform, you just existed in your power, and that power was healing. Here's a quote to remember: "The one who brings calm will always outlast the one who brings chaos." And that's why they can't compete with you, because calm men are rare in a world full of noise. You don't chase validation, you don't fight for attention, you just live in alignment with yourself, and that's magnetic. People crave that energy, even if they don't understand it. But let's be real. Staying calm when you know they're with someone new, that's tough. Your mind will want to picture them happy. It'll want to compare, to analyze, to compete. But here's what I want you to remember. Comparison is their game, not yours. Your job isn't to prove you're better. It's to become so centered that comparison becomes meaningless. Because the truth is, they're already comparing, and they're losing. They'll scroll through their new lovers' photos and feel the difference. They'll hear a song and think of you. They'll see something calm, grounded, unbothered, and it'll remind them of what they threw away. And that's when regret starts to whisper. Not because they miss your attention, but because they miss the peace they didn't value when it was freely given. So, my friends, your calm is not competition. It's contrast. It exposes the shallow for what it is. It reveals the difference between temporary attention and timeless energy. And that's what breaks them, because they'll realize too late that excitement fades, but peace, real peace, never leaves your memory. So say this with me right now. My calm is my crown. Type it in the comments below. Show me. Show yourself. Show the world that you're done competing, done reacting, done proving. You're not in their race anymore. You're in your own league. Because when your peace becomes louder than their noise, even their new lover starts to feel like silence. Stay with me, my friends, because in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how your calm turns into a mirror that exposes their guilt, and why, in the end, it's not your words that haunt them, but your stillness. Stay calm. Stay rare. Stay sovereign. Number 3. The mirror of guilt always finds them. You don't have to remind them what they lost. Life does that for you. My friends, this is where the quiet power of being unbothered starts to work like a mirror. The moment you stop reacting, you stop shielding them from themselves, and in that silence, their own choices start echoing back at them. See, people don't feel guilt when you argue. They feel guilt when you disappear, and life forces them to face the emptiness they created. Imagine this. They wake up next to someone new. The room looks different. The laughter sounds forced, and the silence between sentences feels heavier than it used to. At first, they try to ignore it. They tell themselves, "This is better. I'm happier now." But every so often, something small reminds them of you. A phrase, a tone, a habit, and suddenly the mirror appears. In that reflection, they see the version of themselves that was loved without condition, cared for without effort, understood without noise. They remember the steadiness you brought, the calm you carried, the way you never forced them to change, but inspired them to grow. And that memory, it hits harder than any message you could ever send. Because guilt doesn't need a voice, it needs silence, your silence. It's the weight that sits quietly on their chest when the lights go out and there's no one left to impress. They start to replay everything, not because they miss the attention, but because they miss the safety your energy gave them. And here's the truth. Safety is addictive. They can fake excitement with someone new, but they can't fake peace. Let's break a lie right now. They didn't move on because they found better. They moved on because they thought they could escape accountability. They thought new meant healed. But running doesn't erase the mirror. It only makes it follow closer. And when you're unbothered, when you stop chasing, that mirror becomes crystal clear. Every action they took, every word they said, now stands in front of them with no distraction to blur it. That's when guilt starts whispering. And that whisper, it doesn't stop. Think of it like standing in front of still water. When the water is calm, it reflects perfectly. But when it's disturbed, all you see are waves. For so long, your reactions were the waves. Their guilt stayed blurry because you kept stirring the water. But when you stopped, when you went calm, the reflection became sharp. Now they can see every mistake, every word, every wrong choice staring back at them. And they can't look away. They'll try to distract themselves, new dates, new people, new noise. But every time those moments end, your silence returns like gravity. It pulls on their thoughts. It lives in their mind, rent-free. And the more they pretend not to care, the more it eats at them. Because deep down, they know your peace is proof they were the problem. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused the harm." That's what your calm does. It doesn't punish them. It exposes them. When they left, they expected anger, bitterness, chaos. But when all they get is stillness, it unsettles them. Because stillness means they didn't matter enough to disturb your peace anymore. That's a level of strength they didn't expect. And it forces them to confront the truth that they lost someone solid while chasing something shallow. But let's be honest, my friends. Staying calm in the face of guilt you didn't cause isn't easy. You'll have moments where you want to remind them, where you'll think, they should know what they did to me. You'll crave closure, accountability, apology, but the truth is, your silence is the closure. It's the only language guilt understands. Every time you resist the urge to explain, you turn the mirror back toward them. Every time you stay silent, you hand them a reflection they can't escape. And over time, that reflection starts haunting them. They'll see your face when they lie to themselves. They'll feel your energy in moments of quiet. They'll catch themselves wondering why they still think about you, why their new happiness feels shallow. It's because you became their mirror, not their memory. You stopped being the person they hurt and became the truth they can't ignore. Here's the part that will set you free. You don't need to see their guilt to know it exists. You don't need an apology to validate your worth. Life handles that. The universe has a funny way of reminding people what they lost, through comparison, through silence, through the peace that never visits them again. So the next time you catch yourself wondering if they feel it, if they regret it, if they ever think of you, remember this. They don't have to say it for it to be real. You'll know by the way life starts reflecting your calm back to you. Opportunities open. Peace deepens. You feel lighter. Because when guilt finds them, peace finds you. Say this with me right now. I am their mirror, but I reflect peace. Type it in the comments below. Show me, show yourself, show the world that your silence is not about revenge, It's about reflection, that you're not chasing closure, you are closure. Stay with me, my friends, because in the next part, we'll go even deeper. I'm going to show you how your calm becomes their obsession, the quiet pull that no new lover can compete with. Stay calm, stay rare, staying. Number 4, when your calm becomes their chaos. The same silence that gave you peace will one day drive them insane. My friends, that's the paradox of emotional control. The silence you built for survival turns into the very storm they can't escape. At first, they thought your calm meant defeat. They thought your stillness meant you gave up. But what they didn't realize is that peace has a sound, and that sound echoes in their mind long after you're gone. Imagine this. They're out somewhere, laughing, smiling, living their new life. Everything looks picture perfect on the outside. But in the quiet moments, when the music fades and the crowd thins, they start to feel it. That emptiness, that haunting quiet where your energy used to be. It creeps in like a shadow they can't shake. They scroll through their phone, see your name, and suddenly their heartbeat changes. Because your silence isn't absence, it's presence in its purest, most powerful form. See, they wanted you loud. They wanted you to be emotional. They wanted evidence that you still cared. Because as long as you reacted, they could still feel important. But your calm stripped them of that illusion. It flipped the script. Now they're the ones checking for signs, reading silence like it's a message, wondering if you've moved on, if you've replaced them, if you're happier without them. And that, my friends, is when the chaos begins. Let's break a lie right now. They don't miss you because they realize their mistake. They miss the control they had over you. They miss knowing they could disturb your peace whenever they wanted. But now, you've become unpredictable. You're not explaining yourself. You're not proving your worth. You're not waiting for closure. You are closure. And that drives them mad because they can't play a game when the opponent refuses to show up. Think of it like chess. They expected a battle, move for move, emotion for emotion. But when you walked away from the board, they were left staring at pieces that no longer mattered. The game didn't end because they won. It ended because you stopped playing. That's what calm does. It removes the battlefield. It leaves them fighting shadows. They'll start inventing stories just to fill the silence. He must be seeing someone new. He's pretending not to care. He's trying to make me jealous. But deep down, they know you're not pretending. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed their validation to feel complete. You've become peaceful for real. And nothing makes a person feel smaller than realizing they no longer have access to the chaos they once controlled. But let's be real. Staying calm when they're trying to provoke you is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. There will be days when you want to break silence just to remind them who you are. You'll want to post, to speak, to react. But remember this, every reaction feeds their illusion. Every word gives them oxygen, and oxygen keeps the fire alive. Your calm, though, your calm suffocates it. Here's a metaphor for you. Imagine a candle flame dancing wildly in the dark. That flame is their ego. It flickers, it glows, it burns bright only when there's air to feed it. Your reaction is that air. The moment you stop blowing, the moment you go still, the flame dies on its own. That's why they can't handle your calm. It's not that you did something cruel. It's that you stopped doing anything at all. And in that nothingness, they finally meet themselves, their guilt, their emptiness, their regrets. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." That's the essence of your calm. You've stopped estimating them as powerful enough to disturb you. You've realized their noise only matters if you choose to listen, and that's what breaks them. your refusal to give their chaos a stage. But here's what's beautiful about this, my friends. Your calm doesn't just punish them, it frees you. It gives you space to grow, to heal, to rebuild without the weight of someone else's approval. Because peace is not passive. Peace is preparation. It's the rebuilding of your foundation while they're still trapped in the ruins of their pride. So when they start to spiral, when they start checking in, when they start poking at your silence, don't flinch. Don't respond. Let the silence do what words can't, because your calm is teaching them a lesson you could never explain, that real power isn't found in control over others. It's found in control over yourself. Say this with me right now. My calm creates chaos. Type it in the comments below. Show me. Show yourself. Show the world that you've mastered the art of being unshaken. Because what's coming next, my friends, is where peace becomes magnetic. In the next part, we're going to talk about how your calm transforms into something irresistible. The quiet pull that keeps them coming back even when their pride tells them not to. Stay rare. Stay calm. Stay rising. Number 5. Your peace is the addiction they can't quit. Once someone feels real peace, every storm after that feels like punishment. My friends, listen closely. This is where everything starts to shift. The moment you become truly calm, truly grounded, something strange happens. The people who once caused you pain start craving your energy like oxygen, because peace, real peace, isn't something you can fake. It's something people feel. And once they've felt it, no amount of noise, no amount of distraction, no amount of new love can replace it. Imagine this. They're sitting across from their new lover at dinner. The conversation is flowing, the lights are low, everything looks perfect. But in between the laughter, there's a flicker, a strange quiet they can't explain. They feel something missing. They can't name it, but their body remembers it. That grounding energy you used to bring. The way your calm made them breathe easier. The way you never rushed, never competed, never begged for attention. Their new lover might be exciting, but excitement fades. Peace doesn't. Peace leaves fingerprints on the soul. That's what you were to them. Peace in human form. You didn't have to force it. You didn't have to say much. Your presence alone said, "You're safe here." And when they left, they thought they were chasing freedom. But now, they're realizing they left the very thing they were looking for, because freedom without peace isn't freedom. It's chaos disguised as fun. Here's the lie they believed. They thought peace was boring. They thought calm meant weak. But that's because they've only ever known love through intensity, not intimacy. They were addicted to highs and lows, to arguments and apologies, to passion that burns but never warms. So when they met someone like you, calm, consistent, still, it scared them. It felt unfamiliar. And what do people do when something feels unfamiliar? They run, but running doesn't erase memory, it deepens it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's what you've done. You've stopped trying to control them. You've started mastering yourself. And in that mastery, you've become magnetic. Because self-control is the highest form of attraction. People are drawn to what they can't disturb. Here's the psychology behind it. Human beings are wired to crave stability after chaos. So when they go through their next argument, their next disappointment, their next sleepless night, guess whose energy they remember? Yours. The calm one, the centered one, the one who didn't fight for attention, but commanded it through stillness. You see, the more chaotic their new life becomes, the more your peace starts to look like a luxury. And the irony? It was free when you gave it. Now it's priceless because they can't access it anymore. But let's get real. This is where your patience will be tested, because when they start craving your calm again, they'll try to re-enter quietly. A message here, a random like there, maybe even a nostalgic memory dropped at just the right time. But don't be fooled. They're not coming back because they changed. They're coming back because your peace feels better than their noise. They're not seeking you. They're seeking relief. And if you let them in too early, they'll drain you again, not because they're evil, but because they're unhealed. Your job isn't to prove your peace anymore, it's to protect it. You didn't go through sleepless nights, heartbreak and silence just to return to the same chaos you escaped. You didn't rebuild your calm to hand it over to someone who only values it when it's gone. So when they come knocking, let them knock. When they test your silence, let them wonder. Because curiosity is their new addiction, and your peace is the trigger. Here's another metaphor for you. Imagine you were their favorite song, the one that always made them feel grounded. They played it so often, they stopped appreciating it, so they switched playlists. But now, every new track sounds offbeat. Nothing hits the same. And one night, when they're alone, they press play on your song again. But this time, it's not available. You took it off the shelf. You reclaimed it. And that silence between songs, that's your peace, haunting, irreplaceable, unforgettable. So, my friends, let them chase the noise. Let them seek the thrill. Because no matter where they go, they'll end up missing the calm they thought they didn't need. And by the time they realize it, you'll have outgrown the need to be their peace at all. You'll be your own. Say this with me right now. My peace is my power. Type it in the comments below. Show me. Show yourself. Show the world that you're no longer giving your calm away to chaos. Because your peace isn't just a feeling, it's your legacy. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're diving even deeper into how your silence turns into magnetism, the kind that pulls without chasing. Stay calm, stay steady, stay sovereign. Number 6. Silence turns into magnetism. The loudest attraction is the one that doesn't need to speak. My friends, let me tell you something that most people never realize. Silence isn't empty. It's charged. It's filled with everything they took for granted. And the longer you stay silent, the heavier that silence gets for them. At first they think you're just giving them space. Then they start to wonder if maybe you've moved on. But eventually the silence becomes magnetic. They can't stop thinking about it. They can't stop thinking about you. You see, people crave what they can't access. That's the secret most never master. The moment you go quiet, not because you're angry, but because you're calm, you change the entire game. You stop being predictable. You stop being emotional fuel. You stop being an option. And that mystery, that uncertainty, it becomes irresistible. Because human nature is simple. We chase what feels uncertain, and we undervalue what feels secure. Imagine this. You're a lighthouse standing firm at the edge of a dark sea. Once upon a time, you flashed your light for everyone who sailed by. You gave direction, warmth, attention. But now, you shine only for yourself. And out there, somewhere in that cold water, they see your light again. Not flickering, not calling, just steady, silent, sovereign. That light draws them in, not because you asked them to look, but because they can't help it. They remember how it felt to be near it. They miss it. That's the power of silent magnetism. Here's what makes silence so potent. It gives their imagination a job. They start to fill in the blanks with questions. Why hasn't he reached out? Did he forget me? Is he seeing someone new? Has he really changed? Every question becomes a spark of curiosity. And curiosity, my friends, is the first step to obsession. Because when the mind doesn't have answers, it starts creating them, and the version of you they imagine in their head. It's always more powerful than the one they used to know. But let's not sugarcoat it. Holding silence is brutal. It's like holding your breath underwater while your emotions scream to break the surface. You'll want to text. You'll want to remind them you still exist. You'll want to prove that you're fine. But here's the lie. The moment you prove it, you lose the power. Because silence isn't about pretending. It's about believing that your peace speaks louder than your presence. Think about a star in the night sky. It doesn't move closer. It doesn't shout, "Look at me." It just shines. And yet, people can't stop looking up. They can't stop being drawn to the stillness, the glow, the mystery of it. That's what you become when you master silence, a force they can't reach but can't ignore. Every time they think they've moved on, they'll stumble into a reminder of you, a song, a scent, a memory. And it won't feel like nostalgia. It'll feel like gravity. Here's a truth most people miss. Silence isn't the absence of communication. It's communication perfected. It says what words can't. It says, "I've changed." It says, "I don't need you to understand me." It says, "I found peace that you can't disturb." And the moment they realize that, their pride begins to crack. Because deep down, they wanted you to react. They wanted your energy to prove they still mattered. But now, your silence is the proof that they don't. Marcus Aurelius once said, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." That's what silence does. It aligns you with yourself. You stop orbiting their chaos. You become your own center of gravity. And ironically, that's when they start to orbit you again. Not because you tried to pull them in, but because peace always attracts those still trapped in noise. But here's the beauty of it all. Your silence doesn't just attract them back. It attracts everything that's meant for you. Opportunities, clarity, confidence. People who understand your energy without demanding your validation. Because the world starts to move differently when you stop chasing it. You become the still point that everything else revolves around. And when they finally come back, curious, uncertain, maybe even humbled, they won't be coming back to the same person they left. They'll be facing a version of you that no longer needs to speak to be heard, because your silence has become its own language. The language of calm confidence, the language of power, the language of a man who mastered himself. So say this with me right now. My silence attracts everything meant for me. Type it in the comments below. Show me, show yourself, show the world that your quiet is not weakness, it's magnetism. That you no longer chase noise, you let peace do the pulling. Because what's coming next, my friends, is the final stage of power, when your calm not only attracts, but decides. Stay silent, stay magnetic, stay sovereign. Number 7. When calm turns into control. The one who masters peace masters every room he enters. My friends, this is where the journey comes full circle. All the silence, all the detachment, all the self-control. It leads to this one moment. The moment when you realize you were never trying to get them back. You were trying to get yourself back. And when you finally do, when you reclaim your calm, your focus, your power, something shifts in the atmosphere. The same people who once doubted you start to feel it. The same ones who walked away start circling back. But now the difference is clear. You're not the same man anymore. You don't chase. You choose. Imagine this. They come back around, testing the waters. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's a, "Hey, just checking in." Their tone sounds casual, but their heart is racing. Because they remember the old you, the one who would have answered right away, poured his heart out, or jumped at the chance to reconnect. But now, you read it and you breathe. You feel nothing but calm. You smile. Not from arrogance, but from understanding. Because for the first time, you're in control of your energy. Here's the truth they never expected. Your calm became their confusion. Your growth became their grief. When you stopped reacting, they lost their script. When you stopped needing closure, they lost their excuse. And when you stopped chasing, they lost their confidence. Because people only feel powerful when they can predict your behavior. But the moment you rise above reaction, you become unpredictable. You become mystery again. Think of it like a chessboard. In the beginning, they were making bold moves, confident they were winning. But while they were playing games, you were learning strategy. You were studying the board. You were mastering patience. And now you're several moves ahead. The game isn't about chasing anymore. It's about positioning. And you're calm, that's your checkmate. Because real control isn't about domination. It's about direction. It's about knowing that your peace decides what stays and what leaves. They'll feel that. Oh, trust me, they'll feel it. The way your energy no longer bends toward them. The way your voice doesn't tremble when you speak. The way your presence no longer asks for permission to exist. That energy can't be faked. And once they feel it, they can't unfeel it. Because power like that isn't loud. It's steady. It's the kind of power that doesn't beg to be seen, yet somehow commands every room it enters. But let's get honest. There was a time you thought silence meant losing. There was a time you believed walking away meant weakness. You thought detaching would make you forgettable. You thought being calm meant being cold. But now you see, peace was the plan all along. It wasn't about forgetting them. It was about remembering yourself. It wasn't about revenge. It was about resurrection. Here's what's wild. The calmer you become, the more magnetic your life gets. Opportunities open up. New people show up. Your confidence returns. You start sleeping better, thinking clearer, living freer. And that energy, that stillness, it spreads. People can feel it even when you say nothing. You start attracting those who speak the same silent language. Peace, purpose, and presence. That's the real reward. Not revenge, not validation, but freedom. Here's a quote I want you to hold on to. Control isn't about holding on. It's about letting go without losing yourself. That's what this new version of you represents. You let go of the noise. You let go of the need to explain. You let go of the constant battle to be understood. And in return, you gained something far greater. Control over your mind. Control over your emotions. Control over your peace. So, when they circle back, when they test the waters, when they say, "You've changed," smile and say, "I had to." Because you did. You evolved. You rose. You became the storm they can't predict and the calm they can't live without. That's what true control looks like. Not reaction, not revenge, but restraint. The kind that comes from knowing who you are and never needing to prove it again. So say this with me right now. I control my peace. Type it in the comments below. Show me, show yourself, show the world that this is your era, the era of silence, self-respect, and sovereignty. And if this message hit you in the chest, if it reminded you that your calm is your crown, then do me a favor, my brothers. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because this isn't just about heartbreak, it's about becoming untouchable. It's about building a peace so strong that even the past bows to it. Stay calm, stay steady, stay sovereign.